All right, so as we get into the to more of the weeds of the class, let's start with college catching. Has Ike Irish kind of separated himself from the pack in your opinion?
Yeah, I think so. And then if you could maybe make the case that he's not even in that conversation because there are a lot of
Mm.
people who just don't view him as a catcher. I would imagine whoever drafts him will probably try him at catcher unless he comes out and is like, "Hey, I really don't want to catch. I want to hit." Um, but I think even if you don't view him as a catcher, he still belongs in a really good spot on the board. He might be the best pure hitter, not pure hitter. He might be the most well-rounded hitter in the college class. But even if we are considering him as a catcher, I think I would have him at the top of that group. After Ike Irish, it seems like it's Luke Stevenson at North Carolina and then Caden Bodine at Coastal Carolina. That's the order we have them in. I don't anticipate flipping that order between now in the draft. It really does feel like the added impact that you get with a guy like Luke Stevenson maybe just makes him a little bit more exciting than a player like Caden Bodine, who might be the safest of this trio that we're talking about, just given his pure contact ability and his defensive chops. I think both Caden Bodine and Luke Stevenson are pretty safe bets to stick at catcher and be good defensive catchers there. I've talked with some people who think Caden Bodine is just the best receiver in the country. So I would imagine the highest people on him are higher than the highest on Luke Stevenson, even though Stevenson to arm, I'd say I would take his arm over Caden Bodine. So that's kind of how I'm viewing them. I think they all have a shot to go in the first round. Maybe Caden Bodine slips out and is more of like a comp type, like we saw with Caleb Lomavita last year. But I think at some point that profile is going to look pretty appealing.
So safe to say or safe to assume that in likelihood to stick at catcher, you would go Bodine, then Stevenson, then Irish.
Yeah, probably. And I would have a much bigger gap between Stevenson and Irish than I would the first two. I don't feel super confident that Bodine is like massively better defensively than Stevenson. The way I would put it is that I think everyone I've talked to seems to like Bodine's receiving in particular better than Luke Stevenson's. I think the arm strength with Luke Stevenson is quite a bit better than Bodine, although with just pop times and the ability to handle the running game, Bodine's quickness and his exchange is good enough to make up for what is like, vacuum a less powerful throwing arm. So yeah, that's definitely the order that I would put them in.
Twins fans are desperate for a college catcher. Every year, dude, we have to lead with
Really,
college. It's so weird. I don't understand. Like
they want more Ryan
that
Jeffers
they
in the
want more
world,
Ryan
man.
Jeffers, who was, if I'm remembering, widely considered a reach at the time, and has worked out pretty decently.
Yeah, and
Um,
also Ryan Jeffers is one of the frequent players I point to and say, if you don't think Ike Irish is a catcher, no one was saying Ryan Jeffers was going to be a catcher in college. Everyone was saying, oh, he's not going to stick there. So I think the fact that he's turned into one of the better receivers, him, Cal Raleigh, Austin Wells, all three of
mhm.
those guys are players that I point to and say, hey, we really don't scout receiving very well, or in player development, they can really bring that up to speed very quickly. So if you're an Ike Irish catcher believer, those are your players to point to.
Right on.